Good day, my friend. How are you doing? How is everything? Let me just set up all the stuff here. I haven't yet done that. Give me a second here. Wait a minute. Okay, that's fine. Where's my it's here. Okay, got it. Let me put this fella here, and oh my god, Nora is finally back. She's not asleep. That's good. Let me make sure. Okay, wait, what am I missing? Yeah, I'm missing this chat from I'm missing the chat, so I can kind of see it on my other screen while I'm coding. So let me do this thingy here. Oops. Yeah, let's kind of, that's fine-ish. Let me kind of do it a bit like this, and then this fella. Oops, nope. And then, nah, where is this fella here? It's the, yeah, okay, it's okay. And then let's kind of move it like this, right? Is that what I do generally? It is. You still haven't sent us any photos or anything. I'm expecting that soon. I want to see that forest that you mentioned and stuff. That would be pretty cool to see. Wait, what did I want to do? So I have a chat here now. That's nice. Let's see. Do we have my API and stuff here? We do, right? Yeah. And then do we have the browser? No, we do not, right? Okay, so let's kind of move it from this screen here. Ah, you went for the city one. Okay, okay, didn't know. Got it, got it. Let me just find. Rip, yeah. Give me a sec here. I'm just starting, so just checking some stuff out. All right. So basically for today, the plan is relatively I mean, the plan is straight, but the implementation is going to be a bit more complicated, right? So for today, basically, we have to do several things, and all things are related to pagination. and caching and scrolling and stuff like that, right? So it's gonna be a bit it's gonna be fun for sure, because for those of you who weren't here, so now we're working on the feed, and here you have thoughts, which are kind of equivalent to tweets on Twitter. We call them thoughts, like share your thoughts. And then dev blogs, I just renamed this morning. I don't know if that's the right name or whatever, but actually that's a pretty nice apartment, Nora, and the kitchen looks pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna live, I don't know if you're gonna live there alone, but if so, it's an awesome place. I mean, easy for 2 people. Nice, nice, super awesome. Yeah, super nice. I really like it. Yep. Amazing. It does, yeah. All right. Give me a second here. Just friend writing. All right. So basically, let's kind of just lay out some stuff in our linear, right? And then we're gonna kind of start cracking. So let's go to our project's road to MVP, and let me kind of just see how do we. So let me just. So this sort of stuff is in progress now. Let me zoom out a bit. So this is what we're doing. So it's kind of now a bit. I wouldn't say we're a random. We're not random. I don't think we're doing it randomly, but we're still doing a lot of stuff now. So all of this kind of is one task, kinda, right? And this morning, when I woke up, I was thinking obviously about this network, and one idea that came to my mind is that since you're going to be able to create custom feeds, right? A custom feed basically is going to be you can follow multiple tags or multiple people and stuff. So what I came up with is that when you come to someone else's profile, there should be another button here next to follow that says, you know, add to your feed, you know. So you should be able to click here and then you get a drop down of your custom feeds and then you add that person to your feed. So then when you go to your actual feed and here there's going to be like another tab for your custom feeds, that posts or messages or whatever from that custom feed is that person's messages and posts are going to be shown there, right? So I think that's pretty useful, because think about, you maybe find someone and you are, you know, oh, this guy, you know, wrote a super great C++ article, right? You can follow that person, of course, but then you can also say, well, I also want this person's posts as well to be shown under my custom feed, some feed that you created, right? So I think that's going to be interesting. I'm not going to do it today, but it's going to maybe next couple of days. It's very simple to do, but yeah. So let me just spend 2 minutes of cleanup here, and then we're gonna finalize your FJS upload. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Use SVR. Okay. So basically, let's start kind of. So let's just kind of let me think out loud. So essentially, now we have those two lists. This is a list of tweets, right? And then this is the list of articles that you. So both of those come from the tags that user is following. So right now I'm following JavaScript, React, Angular, and Go. And then those that I can see on my feed fall under that category. So right now, the only categorization that we have is based on tags. And then, of course, now when I re-enable the custom feeds, you can create your own feed, and then, I don't know, you follow Alex, Nora, and A1, and then you see, you know, it's kind of, custom feed is basically almost like set of filters that you store, and then you, right? So we have this sort of stuff now. Now, the problem, there are several things here. First, you know, right now we're just getting pretty much everything. So we need to add some pagination and stuff, which I did kind of do actually today a bit. It's a very simple thing, right? So you can see here, I've implemented this utility thing called find and paginate. It takes the model that you want to query options. Then it always orders by created at. And then there's some offsets and stuff, and then you can see here. So this is just basically a basic pagination, query method, query function, right? And that kind of already works here, I believe. So if I refresh this here, we can see that we get here count. So there's 150 messages or tweets, current 3, whatever, total 6 pages. So this is pages, total of 6 pages, right? And then rows that are returned now. So I'm returning 25, and then 25 by 6 is 150, right? And then this current is the current page, basically, right? I believe. So let's go, where did I want to go? Let's actually close this fella here. So yeah, so this page and this page, probably page and size are going to be kind of custom things that we can control by query parameters. But for now, I'm going to just say that page, so size, let's say it's going to be fixed. So we're always going to be getting 25 things at once, for example. But this page is going to have to be controlled by query parameters, because our pagination in the front end is going to have to increment that integer and then get second, third, fifth, and right? Good evening, my best man. Okay, so here we're going to say rec.params, right? No, rec.query. Killer bots. Thank you very much, Killer. That's a nice compliment. Thanks, man, and thank you for following as well. So this requires that query. Let's actually take a look at, let's search for, I should have, and then one thing that I have to do here, so this is going to be called, let's say, just a page, right? And let's then go, and I have to kind of add back, we have to change our JSON schema validation here that I commented out, because right now, right, so this is our validation, right? So we can see now that my, find and paginate, right, returns returns count, rows, total, and current, right? So let's we have to now update our schema to reflect that, right? So to reflect the new kind of new set of properties that we return, right? So no, that's where is it? And then let's say here that it's going to be page or 0, right? Or 1, whatever, right? So let's kind of start there. So today basically we want to finalize pagination in both ends, front and back, but in a generic way. So not specific. And you're gonna see we're gonna use the use SVR hook for some parts. So we're gonna keep using the Redux toolkit for some global states and stuff. But we're gonna, I believe I already started kind of. So this is a basic wrapper, basic custom hook around the SVR, and it's just a generic one. So I don't have to import my own intercept, my own kind of HTTP library, right? Because for those of you who've been watching me for a while, you know that I have this HTTP library I wrote over Axios, right? And mainly because of the interceptors. I have the request and response interceptors, and this is kind of the golden thing when it comes to Axios, is that you can, if you're using JSON Web Tokens or any sort of authentication method, right? You can add those. You can add a JVT key bearer token or whatever here, and then you don't have to keep getting the token from local storage or cookies all around your code base, right? So essentially this request little wrapper that I wrote that we use all over the place is going to also be used with use SVR, and then we have our own use request hook. It's just a wrapper, so we Stefan, if that's what the book says, yes, but don't, yeah, actually, no, yeah, okay. MC, thank you so much for following, man. Highly appreciate it. Thank you. So let's kind of, so once more, so we're doing now the pagination both front and back. In the front, we're going to use the use SVR hook with our own implementation of this Axios. We wrote the wrapper around the Axios, the HTTP library. And then we're gonna, so kind of a lot of this is already done, so let's kind of start hacking at that. So here we've extended our thing with a query parameter, right? So we'll have to kind of update that here. We'll have to actually, do I have any query examples? Killer, thank you, man. Thank you for the sub, man. Really, thanks a lot, man. Okay, so here we're gonna have the params, right? We're gonna kind of smack them in. So those are the response param. So for those of you who are not using Fastify as I am here, so I'm not using Express or anything, I'm using Fastify.js. For those of you who are new here, so as you can see, when you're writing an API node with Fastify, you're not polluting your controller functions with redundant validation like, hey, is there this or that? Yeah, man, that is the idea. It's always going to be like this. Thank you for saying that, and I'm going to make sure that the stream always remains like that, right? It helps me to talk out loud and think clearer, and some of you people might appreciate it, right? So for those of you who don't remember, basically in Fastify, when you're validating input and output of your components, you have the schema property on the actual controller function, and then you have the response schema, you have the request schema, and then you have the params, and then you have the query params, you have the URL param, like you have all of it, and then everything is validated using JSON schema, right? So when you look at my controllers, you're wondering, hey Alex, how come that you just get tags and then you just pass them down and it works? Well, I don't, right? Because Fastify works with hooks. And essentially, for those of you again who don't know, if I go to Fastify, Fastify has this life cycle thing. Let's go to the docs. So here. So if we take a look at the life cycle of Fastify, or to say life cycle of a request, when you send a request and before it gets completely resolved in the API, this is what it goes through. So the functions that get executed from the moment when the request is received in the API to the end when that request is resolved. So you can see a request comes to the routes, the logger kicks in on request hook, pre-parsing. This is basically where the request is parsed. For example, you might send a request in text format, and then at this point it's maybe parsed into JSON. And I'm pretty sure that Fastify does this by reading the content type on the request, and then it has all of the necessary parsers to do it. So for example, in Express.js, after version 4, you had to install the body parser, I don't know, or any other parser to do it. With Fastify, you don't have to. So essentially, you can see that this validation hook is where this thing is, where the request is validated against this. So if it fails, it's never going to get into this pre-handler here, and that's the handler function, meaning my controller, right? So that's how it kind of works. So if this fails, we basically return. So it essentially is just like a middleware in Express.js. I know that some of you know Express. It's basically just a bunch of middleware functions, if we're going to use that terminology, and then if we fail at one point. But that is the beauty of this implementation, because you have the validation here, and then it's very declarative. It's very easy to see. There's no if statements. There's no redundant logic. It's like, okay, what am I responding? And even better, of course, if some of you recall, what you get kind of for free because of this is you get Swagger. So you get your entire, and this is failing because we commented something out, but you get your whole API spec for kind of free. So you can see, because all of my endpoints are actually validated using JSON schema, all responses, URL query parameters, requests and stuff, my whole API is declared here, right? As the side effect of me using Fastify in this. So for example, if you want to have say Swagger with let's say Express or some Go utilities, whatever, in many circumstances you have to write this manually if you're not using. But with Fastify, this comes as a side effect because the tool is designed with JSON schema as the first class citizen. So you can see that my entire API, I get Swagger kind of for free, again, just as a side effect. And every time I update my endpoint, because I'm updating the actual schemas, my Swagger also reflects that as well. So if some of you would say, hey Alex, I'm a front-end developer, I would like to help you with this project, can you give me the API? I would be like, sure, just open Swagger and that's all you need. You don't need to read the API code and stuff. Open the API, open the Swagger and read, okay, you need articles, cool, what does it return? What does the request require, etc., etc., right? So take a look at Fastify. It's absolutely insane. Really, really good tool. Amazing tool. Whew, okay. That being said, let me kind of fix this stuff up. So right now, basically, as we saw over here, we are responding with count, rows, total, and current. So what I'm actually gonna do now, I'm gonna create a new schema for this, right? Because I know that at any given time when I need pagination, I'm gonna always be returning this generic kind of structure. So instead of me manually doing this stuff, I'm gonna create a new schema. Let's call it pagination schema. And it's gonna be of type object, right? And then it's gonna have properties. Let me just kind of smack it here, and actually, what is this current? Is this a current page or something? Yeah, I guess it's current page. That's what I meant. Okay, doesn't matter. We'll fiddle with that later. So count is gonna be number. Type number. Rows is gonna be also number. If it, I think it does, right? I think you can probably find out about that in 5 seconds. But if not, let's kind of. Yeah, literally, I swear to God, what I wanted to say. There's probably a plugin for it, right? Right, you can see, because the thing is, so let me tell you one thing, Killer, because it's a very good question. So Fastify community has, so Fastify as a framework is a plugin first framework. So the whole framework is built around plugins due to microservice architecture kind of way of thinking and stuff. Now, one very good thing about Fastify is that you can easily see if something is an official plugin, and if something is just a random npm package, because the Fastify team has this formal process. Like if you want to build an official package, you can go to Fastify GitHub repo and get a template, and they tell you have to do this. So oftentimes when you find a Fastify plugin, you can literally see that it was reviewed by the original creators, by the community and stuff. And this really matters a lot, because every time you want to build a plugin that really has to support at least minimal amount of quality to be accepted, right? I believe that this one most likely, let's take a look. Let's go to plugins. Where was it? Where was the plugin page? Wait a minute. I believe it was under docs. No, I think it was ecosystem and proto. Yeah, it is official. Yeah. So you can see here, Fastify and Protobuf together allows users Spotify by default, right? So you're good to go. I guarantee you that you're good to go, because this has been approved by the original owners, right? Don't be concerned too much by the stars, because protobuf isn't something widely used. It has a very seldom use case, right? But I guarantee you that this was approved by the official community, right? All right, cool. Going back to this, wait, what I was doing. Oh yeah, so I was doing the thing. Yeah, sure. Okay, so we have count and we have rows and we have total. And rows, this is inaccurate. I didn't write this well, so it's fine. So let's just say total, and then total is gonna be type number, right? And we'll have to turn this into a utility function, because I can see that this rows is not a generic, it's not a, so yeah, and then current is gonna be type number. So we'll have to make this a function. And then we'll have to return this as an object. And then this rows type is gonna have to be passed from here, right? We know that the, well, actually, no, not really. Well, yeah, yes, really, right? Because this is gonna be an array always. But array of what, right? So we'll have to, so we can kind of say type array, right? And then here we can, let's call this row properties, yeah. And then row property, or let's just call it properties for the sake of, then we can just do this, right? No, shit, no. So type array, and then items, type, wait a minute, items, I don't remember, type string, yeah, no, I'm good, type object, and then properties, basically. So this would be the accurate schema to reflect this, right? I think. So now we can basically go to my router here, to this new thing. And I can basically, so let me see over here. So type object, yeah. So pagination schema. So what I'm actually going to do here for the response 200, I'm gonna just spread this pagination schema. And then I'm gonna pass the, so each of those, so those are gonna be the properties, right? So So those are going to be the properties. Then I can nuke this stuff. And then I can uncomment this stuff. And then I can go up here, try to import user 200. And what was it? Tag schema. Yep. And if I wrote this well, it's a relatively big if. First attempt. Actually, I did, right? And those properties that you just saw are those properties here. You can see that so those properties, what we're doing there, we're just deciding what do we actually return to the front. And as you can see, so essentially this stuff here are those properties. But the rest of this JSON object, as you can see, is declaring those. The total property, rows, current, count, la la la, right? So that's pretty good. We kind of nailed that, right? We nailed that, yeah. So that's really good. So now we have kind of generic way to handle pagination. It's always going to have the same structure, and apart from the rows are going to have, it's always going to be an array of something, but of some different properties, right? Okay, so that is good. So kinda in a way. So now we can kind of go to the front, right? We can go to the front end and start messing with this new thing that I built here, right? So let's use it for the first time. I literally took 30 seconds before the stream, just wrote that thing. So we'll kind of remove a bunch of this stuff here because we're abstracting out with this use SVR. So let's say here, use request, which is our new hook that we made. And that hook returns, as we saw, data error is loading is error. I guess, yeah, sure. So let's, where is it? Request now. Yeah, this thing, yeah. So let's say const data is loading. And then we're gonna pass, basically, we can see that for now, it only takes the URL. And then let's pass this URL, and then we'll have to extend this URL with a query parameter, because we're gonna have to increment that page. So we're gonna have to have paginated. We're gonna have to have some local state, right? And then technically we can get rid of all this and bunch of imports. We can get rid of this and this, because no longer none of that is needed. And let me actually make sure here. So this data is not quite accurate, actually. Because it's going to be data.rows. So I feel that here we'll have to say data.rows, even though I slightly dislike that, but we'll see if I'm right. I probably am wrong about that, but let's see. Yeah, I am wrong, so let's see why. Data undefined, all right, fair enough. Let's see why. So oh, my friend is here. Hey, Namanya. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. So get is fine in a way, right? So this is okay. The question is, why is the data... Okay, let's go over here and let's also print the data here, even though it... And then otherwise we're just gonna read the SVR docs. Yeah. Something is off, SVR or whatever is it called, JS. Let's take a look at it, right? So if we go get started here, then you provide the fetcher, right? Yeah, so let's see actually over here, right? So let's see, let's go and take a look at this SVR hook, right? I don't know the interface of this, to be very frank with you. I don't know what is it passing, because we have our own custom implementation of this HTTP library, right? I need to know what this SVR is injecting or passing so I know how to pass it to my own HTTP library, right? So the only argument that it's passing is the string, it's the URL itself, right? Which is good. Sounds good, Nora. I'm counting. I have a Pomodoro watch here, waiting 15 minutes. Run. All right. So in a way, so the arguments that it's passing are fine. Let's make sure that we, yeah, that's good. We have the get here. Technically, this async and await is useless. Let's get rid of that. It's just noise. So I don't see anything wrong, honestly, here. Let's take a look. Okay, quite interesting. Let's go to the documentation because, or let's also just try to use native fetch and let's see what happens. Let's just isolate this at least so we know that the issue is exactly. Yep. Fine. Let me try one crazy thing. It's a bit random, I must admit, but let me try. No, not really, right? Okay, go back to the docs. Or like Axios, great. That's what we need, Axios, let's try. Ha, nice, okay, perfect. All right. So that's what we need to do, right? So this is what we kind of need to do. Sure, fine. It's okay, right? So let's kind of define this fetcher here, just we also have it kind of explicit, right? But instead of Axios there, I should have my request, my own kind of request implementation, right? Yeah, and then that's perfectly fine, right? If you're wondering why do I must use my own HTTP library, that would be a valid question. Well, because I have a lot of logic that handles some of the stuff in the project. Handling of authentication, reCAPTCHA from Google. You can see that for any request, put, post, or delete, I'm basically creating the CAPTCHA key and then sending to the API. So I kind of must use my own stuff, right? And then we can kind of pass this fella here. Should be fine. Let's go back here. And then we're good. So it works, right? Perfect. So if we kind of take a look at our feed here, our tweets, it kind of works, right? Amazing. Okay. So our hook now, we can officially say our hook works. And let's kind of do the same on the, so let's go to the feed, let's go to the articles tab over here, and let's kind of do the identical thing, pretty much, right? So we're gonna literally nuke all of this stuff. We're gonna just change the actual endpoint to articles. We're gonna import use request. And then we're gonna replace a bunch of this stuff. Right? And then it should still work. The articles themselves, nah, they didn't. Let's see, what did we mess up? Something API, we want articles. I'm pretty sure everything's good. Let's just make sure that my endpoint is fine. By API, v1 articles. Yeah, v1 articles by user tags. Fine. Of course, we didn't do this in the API. We didn't. So let's go to our backend, right? Let's search for get articles by something, by user tags, right? And then here we have to pretty much do the identical stuff that we did for the messages, right? So we have to do, let's kind of open it next to each other. And then let's move this fella here. Essentially what I'm literally gonna do, I'm gonna copy this stuff. I'm gonna comment this stuff out. Let me just see the differences. Then I'm gonna pass this, the query part, right? Actually, I shouldn't have even commented it out. So those are the things I have to pass to this newly created function I made. And actually, no, it's okay. It's okay. Find and paginate. Let's import it so it doesn't complain about it. Do I actually have to pass page here? All right, let's see, and then we'll optimize this later because I don't quite know actually. And then let's grab this part as well. Okay, cool. Okay, let's see, what are we missing? Ah, yeah. And of course now the same basically stuff with our, when it comes to the model, right? By user tags, we'll have to kind of grab this stuff and apply it to that endpoint as well. So if I actually close this, close that, I go to the router here by user tags, right? So this response now has to yep. Let me just see if my genericness of that is going to be sufficient. Here I'm saying type object property. Okay, so I'm just going to say basically here, I'm going to do something like this. Then I'm going to go over here. I'll have to say type object properties this. Then I'll have to do the same over here. Well, actually, in this context, I could literally just say this and then get rid of that. Something like that, right? Hopefully. No, now both of them are failing. Let's see, cannot proxy request. Ah, yeah, we have a syntax error. Let's fix it. Yeah, because we didn't import this pagination. Oops. Yep. That should solve that one. Let's see if it solves this problem. Well, this guy does still work, but this guy, let's see. SQL as instance message does not match. Schema definition. Where are the? Is this the articles? Yeah. Let me just get rid of the schema just to make sure that that's why it's failing. Yeah, that's why it's failing. Okay, fine. Article 2. Ah, that's why. Shit, sorry. My bad. This should be article schema here. Yeah. Yep, now we are kind of good, I think. Even though something got messed up badly. Article schema, yeah. Author, title, summary, slug. Yeah, sure. No, this is messages, articles. Let's see what we get back. So I can see that the title here is missing. Let's see why is that. Get articles by user tags. Ah, shit. That's why. We forgot to change that. And is this the right thing? Yeah. Not user, what was it? Article, right? Okay, so now it's not finding actually anything. Let's see why. Good evening, man. How are you doing? Where have you been all these days? I was worried. I was genuinely worried. Like, where is he? Where is he? Yeah, I don't actually see what am I doing wrong for this one. Everything seems fine. Get articles by user tags. Seems completely fine, to be very frank with you. But let's kind of get rid of this whole schema thing. Yeah, very super mega strange. So it's not the schema, okay. It's article, yeah, that's what we are fetching. Model dot find and count all. Yeah, that's fine. uh, Thank you, man. You never cease to impress me. Good, man. Good. Pretty good, dude. Pretty good streams. I missed you, man. I miss your presence here, but I also understand that you're busy. Good, man. We're kind of moving forward. We did the feed, and we're gonna be we're now kind of doing the. So this is kind of called thoughts, which is kind of like tweets, and now I'm doing pagination and stuff, and then this is just, and this is based on the. So good, man. Like we're kind of moving forward for sure. That's what all that matters is always, right? We're building features. We're kind of doing stuff as much as we can. But good, man. But I miss you around. You're kind of the moderator of the chat always, right? But there's a lot of people, more and more people coming to watch, participating, sending support, subscribing, giving ideas and stuff like that. So it's going well, man. I'm actually happy. It's a nice community. I mean, more and more people are joining Discord. Everything I imagined, basically, that I wish it would happen, it's happening, right? How are you, man? How is work? Did you have a long week? Actually, I didn't bring my glass. Yeah, killer. I mean, it's kind of, yeah, for sure. You can always pick something up. I do like that as well. You can basically killer. What I'm doing is I'm building pagination, right? So I'm building pagination now in both ends, because querying something by just in an arbitrary way isn't very useful, right? You cannot just say, hey, give me all the tweets or articles, that belong to this tag, because then every time a user opens their feed, they will get every single potential resource that exists. So you have to kind of paginate that. So you just say, well, give me that, but give me 10 at a time, right? Yeah, that's kind of very common, right? It's whenever you have a resource that potentially has a lot of records, you want to put some limits on it, so you can still request it, and also it's a UX type of thing, right? There's never a point when you want to deliver, I don't know, thousands of records at once, because no user can comprehend that much information. Like, so say, for example, what would be the point of delivering 3,000 posts at once? You get what I mean? Like, user is not gonna comprehend 3,000 things at once. So what you do, you give 10 or 20, and then when user scrolls, you get another 20, and right, etc. So it has implications on multiple ends: user experience, server load as well, right? It's clearly way cheaper to return 10 records than 10,000 records, right? Etc, right? So that's kind of what we're doing now, but we're doing it in a generic way. Then we can apply it to every single resource of such kind, right? So I'm not doing it necessarily now for a singular endpoint. I'm doing it all across. That's why this find and paginate is kind of a generic function, right? That takes the model, and model is your table, whatever, or something that represents the table, and then you say, well, whatever that can be, user or article or post, find and count, order them in the descending order, basically from the newest until the oldest, and then here you pass the query options, and then those are some SQLized specific properties, right? And then we always return the amount of them. The rows are the data, total pages, and the current page, right? That's kind of what's happening. And now basically for one of our things, it's not working. For thoughts it's working, but here it's kind of not. So I'm trying to figure out now what the hell is happening. Let's actually, I guess this quickest way is to debug this is just to compare the working one to a non-working one, right? Yeah, my pleasure, man. Thanks for asking. Whenever something is unclear, just feel free to shoot a question, man. I'm happy to yeah. Nice. At least, well, you know, uh, okay, I don't know what to say to that. um, maybe this order basically is also. Yeah, exactly. You know, Complex is my most loyal follower and the biggest critique as well. It's kind of paradoxical in a way, right? He cannot live without me anymore, but he likes to troll me a lot. He likes to troll me a lot, exactly. It's kind of very paradoxical in many ways, and that's why it's so fun. Alright, so I mean, when I'm comparing this stuff now, and this is kind of sequelized, right? So I must admit now in front of everybody here, all 8 people, I should have just written the sequel manually without any ORM. I do regret using sequelize now, but it's too late. I just wish, I don't know, I should have just written manual queries and that's it. Anyway, that's a different subject. So the only thing I can imagine now is that something related to those joins now, and maybe, I don't know, it's something here for sure. I don't quite know what, let's see, but I should have just went manually writing stuff. Massive mistake, massive mistake. It kind of doesn't make sense, does it? No, it really doesn't make any sense because no, it doesn't. Like the fact that one of them works and that this one doesn't, it does not make any sense. Genuinely. So strange. Yeah. It has to be maybe, let's kinda remove this include and then try. Nah. This basically means, hey, where give me all the articles on the home in the feed, where author, where I'm not the author. I don't wanna go to the feed and read my own stuff here, right? Okay, so that's the issue, and it kind of doesn't make sense, but it's a bug, I believe. So you can see, because there's really no 25 articles. There's basically, yeah, I think I get it. And ironically, I took this piece of code from somewhere. So another lesson: don't take code from anywhere. Write it yourself. Because there's the count is 13, so we did return 13 of them, right? So if we go to the implementation of this, so we can see that this thing indeed returns stuff. Yeah, especially when we release this platform complex, I think that's pretty much going to be the only thing that I'll be able to read, just my own stuff. That's yeah, I have no doubts. Yeah, I mean it's no, so yeah, so let's see where the bug is. It's fine. I mean, I'm happy that we found it. So that data gets returned, right? And there's rows, right? Ah, shit. No, no, not really. Let's just go to articles tab, data.rows. Yeah, it's okay. So that's quite funny actually. Let's see here. So so this is pretty funny actually. It's like actually the API is returning stuff. But then huh, what? How is this possible? Yeah, yeah. So we can see that yeah, that's quite strange. Ah, yeah. Let me close up some of this stuff. Let's get over here. Let me nuke the schema now again, just for one more sec. No, still, okay. I was kind of hoping that it was that, but no, all right. Let's go back here and here. Give me a second here. Give me a second. All right, cool. Um, let me just double check one thing here. Let me maybe, I'm also missing the query parameters there. So let me kind of just oh my god, man. Seriously, like I'm a bit genuinely shocked. But this size is the problem, it seems, right? The size is the problem. Okay, that's an interesting statement. So yeah, so basically, so the problem seems to be that when the page is greater than the amount of things that exists, nothing gets returned. So that's no, sorry, the size, right? Yeah. So the size, right? Yeah, so basically, yeah, so should the size be dynamic value as well? Because the size itself... Because we offset too much, we offset more than there is left. Yeah, I don't actually know right now. I can't think clearly. So we'll have to kind of start doing the front stuff and then we'll figure it out. So let's kind of do that then. So let's go to the SVGR now, the docs itself. And let's go to pagination over here, right? And let's kind of see how this works. Use SVR infinite. User gives the ability to trigger a number of requests with one hook. This is how it works. Yes. Key fetch. Similar to SVR, this new hook accepts a function that returns the request key fetcher. Welcome back, Nora. Nice. I could actually go and grab some chips as well. All right, let me go back and let's try to implement it first in a simple way, right? And then we might use the infinite thing, right? So we'll pretty much need the same stuff, I can see it. So let's actually start with messages. So let's go to the messages themselves, which is this, thoughts as we call it. Let's have here page index, la la la. Let's import use state. And yeah, we're gonna basically update our URL pretty much almost exactly like this. So we're gonna actually have the page, which is our query parameter. So we're gonna do something like this, and then we're gonna wrap this in template literals, right? So we can kind of concatenate this variable. All right. Going back here, and let's literally also do this. So we want to go super simple now. Now I'm going to add pagination here to the top, just for the sake of seeing it, just for the sake of being able to see it. Let's just make them buttons or something, actually our own buttons, because I can't see anything now. So let's say button from our own library, our own custom button. So this is temporary, so let's not worry too much about style for a second. And let's just say here NY8. And we can kind of see that it works, right? The pagination, right? We'll see now when is it gonna fail. Because at one point, yeah, and then of course we have the right logic to essentially say, hey, you cannot go more. There's nothing more to get. So let's see here. So if I refresh, we're gonna see that we're getting the first page. Then if I click, we're getting the second page. If I click again, we're getting the third page. Fourth, fifth. And then if I click once more, that's the last page, right? So this is kind of the problem we'll have to solve now. Problem, not the problem, but just the implementation, right? Let me just check one thing though. So I can see that I'm getting them in a proper descending order, meaning from they're ordered by date and then they're paginated. And they're ordered from the newest until the latest, because you always want to see the newest stuff on the top, right? So that's all fine. And now we'll have to write a logic in our UI to say, well, hey, you've exceeded, you've reached the point. I'm just thinking here now. Okay. Hey, Sirma, man, good to see you. Good, man. Have I seen you yesterday? I don't think so. The count, yeah, the count always returns the total amount of records. Yeah, the current is the current page. Rows is the basically records for that current page, and then the total is the number of pages, right? So you can see we have 6 pages. Each page returns 25 records, and 6 by 25 is 150, right? Now, I think the issue happens though is that, well, actually, yeah, no, there's really no issue. The thing is, so we start with page number 0. That's when we get 25. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at this point, we should be saying, well, yeah, well, we should be, yeah, exactly. So we should be, so since we're counting from 0, right? We should be exiting or doing that total minus 1, right? So total of pages minus 1, right? Because we're starting from 0, right? So we're gonna stop on total where total is 5, right? So at this point now, when we reach 5, well, I mean, or whatever, right? Let's see. I don't, honestly, I don't know on top of my mind either. I just go and I write it and then we figure it out, right? But let's kind of create this state to be an object instead. And let's say current 0. So that's your boss seems to be a smart fella for sure. What the hell is it complaining about? What? So spread the pagination, which is an object, sure. Ah, of course, I'm an idiot. Yeah, this was fine, right? I don't know why it's still complaining though. Okay, never mind. So let's just ensure that it's still, and where's the, are we using, never mind. And then we might turn this into our component or a hook or something. Let's just see, does it still work? And it does, right? And again, we just have to set some constraints here and stuff. And then we're gonna, so let's implement it here inside of this view. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this into something meaningful so we can reuse this pagination type of thing, right? But before we do so, let's go to the stuff that we've been just doing. Yeah, pretty much something like this. Yeah, almost what I was just saying. Yeah, page. Yeah, exactly. Sure. Okay, I think we're good for now. When it comes to that docs, we don't need to read it more for now. Let's now kind of so. So let's kind of come here and say const next page maybe. Let's call it actually handle next page. Let's call this guy handle previous page, right? Then we'll just obviously use those fellas in there. And we'll, yeah. So we can say if pagination.current is, 0, return. So you kind of go to the previous page, right? And then over here, if pagination.current is equal to data dot total -1, also return, otherwise go. This is basically to prevent it to go further than it can, right? I guess. I hope so. Something like that in a way, right? Almost. We'll see. Maybe not 100%, but we'll see. And then also let's kind of what we can also technically do is we can create some state variables here. Let's say const is first page, and then we can turn the other fella into is last page, right? Because we're gonna need those variables on multiple places, so let's better do that. Then over here, right? Then we can also then disable the buttons if so. So if it is first page, and then we want to disable this one if is last page, right? Yeah. All right, it's failing. Beautiful. That's so great. Total. Okay. Probably because let's print this data. Something is data. Let's print the data. Well, technically, yeah, because we might still be loading and stuff, so it's probably failing due to that. Let's see. Yeah. So you can see previous button is now disabled, and then the next button is now disabled as well because we reached the last page, right? Even though it says here, let's see, so this is rows 9. Let's just make sure that I'm right, because I don't trust myself at all, ever. But I just want to make sure that my logic is here is good. This, in my opinion, is the last one. And wait a minute, let's just nuke this fella here just to test it out. So we get 25 now, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150. So So I was right. The thing is, right, the issue here is, well, not really an issue, rather just a matter of implementation, is that here we're counting from page 0, and let's not do that. So let's fix that so we don't have this inconsistency. So let's just say that the current page is 1. Doesn't kind of make sense to count from 0 anyway, right? We do that because of how arrays are implemented. But so now we can say that the first page is page number 1, and now we should be good. So we start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I forgot to remove this. I swear to God, man, it happens so many times, complex. So many times. And now we're good, right? Well, not really. 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think, so this is now the bug that we have in the API. So this page number 6. Yeah, so this is also kind of wrong. So why are we getting 42 records in the first page? And then in the second one, very good question, Sirma, very good question. Let's take a look at that. Nope. I think it's expecting 0. The question is, does this thing count from 0? I think it does, right? I think it does. That's the problem, right? I think it does. So in a way, for now, let's kind of revert it back here to 0 as well, and then we'll not waste an hour now on solving this tiny detail, because the stuff works. I feel, at least. Let's take a look at it. Let's go to the front. I believe, yeah, we should revert this to 0 as well. But I don't like that. We'll see if there's a way. And now if we go to the end, we should be kind of done here. So here we got 9 records. So here we got 42. Okay, let's assume that it works. Let's assume that it works. And for now, we can see that basically I'm not flipping them. I'm just, so this SVGR is just kind of adding more to the top, I think. Yeah, I believe I do have a limit, right? Offset is calculated by a limit. And if we go over here, wait a minute. So this is the page size, right? And right now it's 25, right? So it's so strange, like why is the first thing returning 40 records? That's what's confusing me now, right? So why is this guy returning? No, now it's returning 50, right? So this one now returned 50, right? The first page. So probably my pagination logic is wrong or something, right? Let's examine it. Let's call this limit as well. And let's call it limit here as well. Page multiplies the limit. We calculate. No, am I doing it wrong? I think I'm failing miserably. So give me a hand here. Right? Let's go back here. I guess that's the problem, right? I guess the first initial one is the problem, right? I guess, right? Because so well, first of all, there's several problems, I guess, right? So like you said, so first problem here is that, so let's kind of talk this out loud. So when I get 0, which is going to be the first page, this is going to evaluate to false because 0 is a falsy value. So this is actually not going to happen. So offset is going to be 0. So this is going to be 0. Current is going to be 0. I still don't see why does it return 50 in the first one. I think that we're missing. I might have an idea. Wait a minute. Offset limit, right? We can see clearly that here we're passing size, and this size isn't really. So it's fun if we're passing that size to this. This is our abstraction, right? But over here, actually, yeah. I can see that we're not passing this limit to this guy at all, and that's I believe what the problem is. Yeah, that was it, right? So now we're getting 25, right? And then again, we should be getting 25. But now we've kind of failed. So it doesn't kind of make sense, does it? So 25. Okay. So wait a minute. I think probably. So we're gonna fix it in a second. Okay. So. Give me a moment here. I believe I found some article before. Let me try to find it again. Let me actually move it to the screen over here. Try to figure it out together. So this is what I just Googled. Let's kind of scroll a bit down because I... Let's read this for a second, right? Limit is size, offset is page multiplied by size. So as you increment the amount of pages, we discard those values. So if I've loaded 25 already, that's going to be that amount by the page, right? So it's going to be, as you increment the page, we're going to be offsetting more and more. We're going to be returning less and less, to say, right? Until there's nothing more. Notice that we start counting from page 0. For example, if we want to get number of page, then on each page there's 8 records. The calculation will look like this. Limit is size. Page by size is equal to 5. So so let's try to get this thing. No, this is our front. Let's go over here. Just let's put this utility kind of over here. Let's get to this implementation again. Okay, and then let's get over here and call it. I believe this plus is basically just like a explicit conversion from string to a number. I don't think we need that. Okay, let's take a look what's happening. We get 25 now. So something isn't right? Any ideas, Sirma? Thank you so much for coming here, Nora. Have a great coding evening. We'll catch you up another time, tomorrow or whenever you're around. Let's also get this thing and see if this stuff is gonna work. Yeah, no worries, man. Sorry, I had no idea. Absolutely no worry, man. No worries. It's I'm gonna spend some time soon with my wife as well, so I fully get you, all good. Total. So let's just call this count. I'm gonna call those and give those generic names because I'm using this all over the place. Let's call it total. Maybe total pages is actually fine, and then let's call this one current. I just make sure once more that this stuff is good. Okay, let's go back here. Interesting. Okay, that's good as well. $50, $49, $43, $40, $33, $34, $31. Find and count all. So basically the offset is the problem in a way, right? Let's kind of... So let's kind of not use offset for now then. And then we can go back over here. And then we can say that each page has 15 items. And then we can go and check that out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do need the offset, right? Yeah, so we do need the offset. Yeah, shit. How do we calculate the offset page? Yeah, so I think everything is fine. So click next. The next offset is going to be 25 because we want to offset the 25 that we already got, or in this case 15. So now we want to offset 30. Now we want to offset, no, now we want to offset, yeah, 4 by, so 60. So something's wrong. So it seems that we're not offsetting try this. Let me increase this offset just so it's... What? Interesting. What the hell is the problem? I don't get it. Why is it not returning anything from this point? So it returns... Okay, I don't actually know. I don't get it. Let's see again. Let me try to reason about this. So we got 20. Then we got 20 again. At this point. And then we got 9. But the count is 150. So we got 29. I have no idea why. Actually, what are the query options? Yes, size, 20, page. Yep. I don't get it. I don't know why is it kind of failing to return what we want. Let's take a look here. So we got 20, I guess, yeah. Just you click on those testing things. Then we got 20 again. Is there a chance that this count is wrong? Maybe there isn't 150 of them. Let's see. Where's the count calculated? I guess it's returned by yeah, so it is returned here. Let me go to this article. Yeah, let's also go to the official docs. Let's go. Let's go model querying. Let's switch the team. Let me zoom in. Yeah. All right. Actually, this music is actually quite annoying. Quite annoying. Okay. I don't know. I think I literally did all I had to. Hmm. $20. So something is off here, I think. It's returning 50 records. So if it's returning 50 records, how come that the count shows 150? All right, maybe my code actually was good this whole time. Let's take a look at this also. I'm a bit confused now. Why would this count return that there's 150 of them then? Interesting. Let's go to message here and then count rows. So there's only 50 indeed. There's only 50 indeed. Yeah, there's literally only 50 records here. So actually this count in our SQLize, in our API, is not calculated properly. Good evening, Gambit, my friend. Good, man. Solid, I would say. It's fine. Not super great, but it's good, right? So basically our count here returns our SQLize method returns a wrong count. So find count all, found and count all. So our query basically, then our query, that's super strange. Super strange. So find all messages were by those tags, right? Yeah, this is kind of accurate, right? So something's completely, yeah. So actually, in a way, I'm happy because now I know that the count that's returned is actually wrong. So it's not returning the total amount that's actually accurate. So here we return 20, then we return 20 again, then we return 10, and then we return. So that's good. So there is indeed 50 records. So why is the count returning a wrong number? Let's take a look at that. Let's go to the API. So let's kind of search for it a bit. Let's say returns wrong count. Try adding distinct true. Okay, maybe that's gonna solve our problem. Let's say distinct true, and then come here, and now we get the proper count. Okay, let's read why. But okay, thank you very much. The thing is, okay, let's learn sequelize distinct true, just so we don't copy paste. I mean, they are distinct, right? Why would I have 150 then? Okay, I mean, never mind. It's working now. Yeah, okay, it's fine. So now we're good. So our pagination now should be fine, and then we can continue with the UI. Basically now, so there's total of 50. So now we've loaded on the page 0, we loaded 20. Page 1 or page 2 we loaded 20, and then last page is gonna load 10 of them, and then we're kind of so 20, 20, and 10. So that's pretty good. Okay, great. It's kind of sucks, to be very honest with you, when the library itself doesn't really work as intended, but that's what it is. Okay, cool. Now, of course, one of the things we will want to do is have infinite scrolling and stuff. But for now, I'm not going to be implementing that. So what we will be doing instead is going to be just this basically basic next and previous buttons. So let's kind of put them. Let's gonna put them over here, and then we're gonna style them a bit. Shouldn't have saved. Let's do this again. Let's say flex gap. Let's say 2. Yep. We're gonna turn this into a component anyway. Eventually, let's kind of have this guy as variant primary build. Let's maybe add some fixed width to both of them so they look the same. So let's say width, it's gonna be 90. Now this is super big. But let's try 42. 40, I don't actually remember. Yeah, let's try 40 on both of them. Yeah. And actually, let me just try to make it primary instead. And let's do this. Not the greatest UX, but in a way it kind of makes sense because it does fetch the latest one. So actually, if I go to the top, Emmanuel blah blah, but if I click next, it's gonna, yeah, so it's kind of pushing them to the top. It's okay. All right, that's pretty good. That is pretty good, and then we'll have to implement infinite scrolling, but this is just a temporary thing. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's actually good. And then we can get the previous ones. Yeah, sure, fine. Let's kind of go to style icons, right? And let's get some icons. Let's search for next and previous or whatever. Yeah, I like this one. So let's kind of grab it and then run it through our own SVG process that we have. So let's edit this HTML. Let's optimize SVG. Let's paste it over here. Let's copy it. Let's go to our front. Oh, that's our bag. Okay. Let's go to source, assets, images, SVG. Let's create next SVG. Let's clean this fella up. We don't need that. We don't need that. Let's create a new one. Let's call it kind of previous SVG. And let's go back here. Navigate, maybe navigate back, navigate. Navigate before, yeah. Question is, which one did I take before? Yeah, let's see, it doesn't matter. Let's use this one. Let's optimize this one as well. Let's copy that. Let's go to the front. Let's paste it here, get rid of redundant stuff. Do this, great. Now we can run our SVGR. So let's go CDF, CD into front end, NVM use, and then run icons, SVG build icons. Now we're gonna build our own because we have our own icon library. And now we can go here and we can just kind of use them. So let's just say previous, and that should be imported from assets. Yep. And then over here we're gonna say next, and also we're gonna import that from our own thing. Where is it styled? Nah, none of that is our stuff. Doesn't matter. Let's just this, and this is also a wrong import, so let's kind of resolve it here. Say import next and previous from our own library. So what was it? Assets, icons, right? Yep. Where were we? We were inside of our thoughts. Yep, and then they're gonna be super huge now, so that's gonna be look a bit broken. It's fine, we're gonna fix it. Let's just make sure that next that we have indeed removed the width and height we did. Okay, that's good. And let's then get back. I don't know why is it previous, yeah, next, yeah, that's all good. Yeah, that's all good. And let's kind of yeah, okay, sure, let's kind of style it a bit. So go into that tab, where is it? Yeah, over here, and let's just say class name, say width 5, with let's say 10. That's gonna be pretty big, I think. That's okay. We're gonna do the same for this fella here. Let's then put this into a span, and then let's make it all class flex, item center, Let's decrease the size of this to like 6, and then we're gonna do pretty much the same. Nah. Let's make it maybe 7. Yeah, fine. Yep. And of course, have to kind of reverse this a bit. Nah, it's not. Doesn't look good at all, actually. But let's try justify between. Yeah, I don't like it at all, to be very honest. At all. Let's actually inspect it here. Yeah, that's because why did I use item center? No, that was fine, but just justify between isn't really doing anything, is it? Ah, yeah. Well, let's also put this in a span. This one in a span as well. But it's still not doing what I want. Let's see. Justify center. Where are we saying justify center? Ah, here, over here. It's maybe because of this guy. Or not. Yeah, it is that one, right? Justify center. Or maybe it's my implementation of my button that's kind of messing this up. Most likely, yeah. I think it is. So it's okay. We can get around that a bit. Let's just say gap 5 or something. Nah, that sucks. Okay, let's leave it as is. It's probably not, we're gonna have infinite scrolling anyway eventually. This is just temporary, actually. Now when I look at it, I don't even like those icons. I'm just gonna nuke them and leave the plain buttons because it just doesn't look good. And I don't want them to be there if it's not looking good at all. Yeah, let's just nuke it all. Come on. Yep. Yeah, let's leave it as such. It's okay. So our pagination now works on both ends, so that's good. Again, infinite scrolling should be better, will be better for sure, but it's okay for now. It's good enough, I think. Give me 5 seconds here. Okay, cool. Coolio. So we can paginate our stuff now. And we discover that we need to use that distinct thing in our API. That's why so this distinct true is necessary with sequelize to actually get the correct count returned. Our count was kind of wrong, which is why I couldn't figure it out fast enough. Okay. So now what would be nice is, because we're gonna need this pagination on multiple places, I think it would be nice that we abstract this out into its component for now until we nail some pretty good infinite scrolling, right? So we're gonna actually make this guy as part of the core, maybe because we're gonna need this generally across the project. So let's just say here, pagination. Let's say pagination JSX, and let's create an index file as well. Oops. Let's create an index JSX as well, and then we're gonna say export all from ./pagination. And then what we're gonna do, we're going to Gonna grab this fella here. We'll just call this pagination, right? And then we will return that stuff. Not gonna return undefined for sure. Let's then get over here. Let's just copy all of those imports. Let's paste them here. And then let's grab the state as well. So this sort of stuff we will need there. So we're kind of, and then we'll need the, so this state we will always have to keep outside of it, right? Because we're gonna need it for our SVGR and the basically to do the actual call with the proper basically page, right? So we'll need to keep this out, which means this pagination is going to take this, let's just say pagination object, and now when I look at it, dude, like, I'm so happy that it's fixed because it was not offset at all. The problem is, man, when you face a bug like that, you start projecting, right? So I don't know if you were here now past 5-10 minutes. The issue basically was that the find all and count in sequelize return the wrong count. So you have to pass that distinct true, because the reason why we had that disparity is because the count was returned as 150, but there were actually 50 records, right? So I just couldn't figure it out. If I didn't Google it, there's no chance I would have solved it, right? No chance. Yeah, crazy stuff, man. A bit frustrating, I must admit. But just gonna break this stuff out. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. I just indefinitely need to stay frustrated, and things are gonna go well. I like the idea. I like the idea for sure. Basically just stay frustrated indefinitely. Great ideas, man. Appreciate it. All right, so this should kind of keep it the same as it now was if I refactored it quickly. So it should pretty much work the same way. Yeah, so that's good. Of course, eventually, again, as I said, soon, hopefully we're gonna replace this with infinite scroll because this is frustrating, but I wanna make sure we get all the functionality right, because all of this logic is gonna apply exactly in the same way as infinite scrolling, because every scroll position is gonna increment this stuff, so it's gonna work the same. So all of this logic basically that we just wrote, all of this and stuff, it's gonna work exactly identical. It's just like infinite scrolling is really tough to get done right, I think, because it involves the scroll bar and calculating the position of it, the length of the page, etc., etc. And so far, all the solutions I found kind of suck. So maybe we'll just build that ourselves for our own project. So, because a lot of those libraries are built to obviously as generic ones, as to be used pretty much everywhere. But we can probably build that auto or resize or whatever better for our own use case than those libraries are doing it. We'll see. So that's cool, right? So that works now, and we have our pagination. Works very simple. We have just current page here, and all of that stuff is pretty cool, right? All of that stuff is cool. Yeah. All right. Cool. And then I have to check why this fella here actually doesn't work at all. Let's go to our API. Get articles by tag name, by user tags. All right, let's go to the feeds. Let's go over here. Page 0. So it seems we were just missing the query parameter, right? That's why. Okay. So that being said, right now we can do pretty much identical stuff as we just did there under the thoughts tab, right? Pretty much gonna wrap this fella in another div. And again, just as any other view, we're gonna eventually replace this by infinite scrolling. Pagination. And then we do that, right? That's cool. And now we just need the same state as we have here. So pretty much, okay, we have that already. So we need this. We need to turn this into a template literal, right? And then we need to concatenate this stuff here. And then we need to import the use state hook. And this should kind of function, hopefully now, in the same way as the messages. And actually, it seems that there is only indeed that many articles, actually. Wait a minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 articles only. And I'm not sure how they're distinct. So that's going to be one of the things I'll have to check, because I'm not sure what is it using to ensure that they're distinct. Are they literally? I don't think that it's comparing full objects or anything like that, right? Yeah, so that kind of works, yeah. That kind of works. Now, if we would be to implement infinite scrolling, right? So if we would be to do this, right? Let's kind of move it here. So this is something we would probably want to do, right? This is the type of infinite scrolling we would want to do, right? Let me explore this for a second. Again, React window infinite loader. So my biggest problem with this, which is why I say is this fixed size list, right? It's very difficult to make this list fixed because then it's hard to make it responsive, right? So that's my biggest problem. But then there's this fella here, right? There's the auto resizer, which apparently tries to dynamically figure out the height of your page and stuff. And you can see it's clearly popular, but it fails to do that most of the time. So it doesn't really figure that out properly, right? Okay, so let's try this maybe. I'm just gonna try this now. Yeah, I'm gonna try this now, I think. Let me actually close my API for a second. I might not need it for a moment. But let me actually double check another thing here, which is gonna be, yeah, I want to check this example. So we need those things to work together. We want infinite scrolling with pagination, but we also need this auto resizer to try to figure out the height of the page on its own. So we kind of need both, right? And I think this is the example that I found. I think this is what it does. You can see that this list takes the item count, which we need, item size. Yeah, this is pretty much what we need, right? So let's try to grab this fella. Let's close up a lot of this stuff. Let's go to our messages tab. And then we're gonna try to return that over here. And then we're gonna import a bunch of this stuff. I believe I actually already installed a bunch of those dependencies. So let's just grab them from here and try to use them. Is item loaded? I don't know what is this. Is some callback, I guess, or whatever. Let's see, what is it here? Load more items. Okay. Is item loaded? Item status map index. Okay, that's quite strange. Load more items. Let me see what they do there with that. Okay, so this is just a way to generate indefinite amount of things, right? And that's okay. I guess in our case, load more items is going to involve just calling this, changing the, so for us, load more items is going to mean incrementing basically the current page and then this use SVR hook is gonna fire, right? So let me kind of get rid of this. Load more items. We're just gonna say, we'll just say, wait, strange. Did I remove? Ah, never mind. So let's get over here. So let's just say that we're gonna, let's kind of comment this out here. Let's disable all of those warnings and stuff. Infinite loader. Yeah, and then let's say here, load more items is gonna mean set current page +1, I think. Is item loaded? What is this guy? Okay, so you have to create basically some hash table and object, a mapping, so every time an item is loaded, you set that thing, right? Items, yeah. I guess they have this enum. I guess they use those values maybe in the library itself to define loading and loaded state, right? I mean, for us, let's try to do this. Can we do something like that? Right? And then their row was a component like this, right? So for us, that's gonna be just a user message. That's gonna be our row. If we can actually render it like this, I'm not quite sure, to be frank with you. Let's kind of go back here and see how they do it. So they have a row. Nah, fuck that. This is going to be data.count item size. What's our pagination size in the API? I believe it's, let's take a look. Let's go to our API. What did we set the paginate thing to? 25, right? Yeah. Or did we? This is for the articles. Where's the messages? Let's just do that. Messages 20. Okay, we're gonna do that. I still exactly, I still get that, man. I still have issues with that. I know that you've been laughing at me. You've been laughing at me big time. Cannot find user message. Okay. All right, so this is 100% gonna fail without a question, but let's see where it fails and then let's fix it. It's perfectly fine. Right now we shouldn't see anything and we don't, which is okay. But what I'm actually interested in, what I'm interested in is to go here and print the props that we, I guess this is injecting some props now to this component that we gave it. Is it? Not really. Okay. Items rendered. What is this list? Okay, but how do we now, how do I actually, first, I didn't even pass data anywhere. Items count. Where do I pass it? Like data or something. Data. Items. Item data. Data dot rows. Yeah, let me see how do we actually use this properly. So row renderer. Okay, so this is what we have to pass, I guess. So we don't actually have to. So row, oops, row. Ah, this is React window, shit. Yeah, sure. So this is, yeah, this is the wrong example that I'm looking at. Where is that? It's this thing, right? Is there an example where they're passing an actual custom component? Yeah, I don't get it. So we're passing our own user message, right? And that component now should be getting some props passed to it, right? And it isn't, right? Yeah, nothing. Yeah. Well, there's another problem here for sure, right? I think if we take a look at their example, and if we go I think they have a static width and height, right? Try one thing. And that is the biggest pain with those types of libraries, is that you need to deal with those things. Okay, good. Now we're fine. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so we have data, index is scrolling. Okay, sure. Thing is, why is it passing? It's literally passing items as an array, like all items. It's not passing a single object. Index. Yeah, this is incredibly strange. Is there something here that we can, or maybe no, over here that we can? Because in none of those examples, they're kind of meaningless examples a bit, because they're not passing any data to them. How do we and where do we actually find that documentation? Or let's just try to figure it on our own. So infinite loader is item loaded. like literally all arbitrary examples. How can I seriously, like, what the hell is this? Where is the actual examples of, seriously, man, like, of passing the actual data? Like, how do I pass the bloody data to this stuff? Just freaking annoying. Direction, height. Seriously, how hard it is to find a bloody example of how this is in reality used. Yeah, another just Jesus, man, like, okay. So strange, man. So strange. Like, I mean, so strange. I get it now. I mean, it's just, yeah. So, yeah, so strange. I don't know. Let's just say const item is props dot data props dot index. At least I think something like that, right? At least I think something like that. Let's print those props again. We get the data. Yeah, so why is it complaining? Props, data. Then we select by index. Yep. Then we get the author and all this stuff. Okay, so what is it complaining about? Ah, okay, fine. Yeah, yeah, sure. I get it. Where is this stuff? Over here. So we can't really, we're no longer accessing this here. Created at content avatar. Okay. Created at content avatar. Well, see now. And where did it explode? Author of item. Okay. props.data of props.index. Let's try that again. Yes. So that's good, yes. So why? Oh my God, the Matty himself. Not much, my friend. Just gonna spend a few more minutes cracking at this and then gonna chill out with my wife. What about yourself, man? How was your weekend? And how is life? Shit, man, I know. Happens every now and then. What was the issue? What did you deal with? Yeah, but this, by the way, also this doesn't seem like it's the way to do at all. It's just really, really bad. Because for every item in the list, yeah, it does seem, yeah, it does seem okay. It doesn't seem too complex, exactly. Yeah, yeah, those types of things. Got it. It's like it doesn't work. Yeah, hey man, it doesn't work. That sort of errors, right? Got it. Got it. But the feeling when you sold it must have been amazing, wasn't it? Right? Laravel, yeah. That's another. Mm. And, but you did you solve it in the end? Did you manage? What was the issue? I wonder. What was it? I'm super curious. Got it. Got it. Got it. So essentially, Okay, so the person that's Jads, thank you very much for following, man. I appreciate it. So essentially, the API you're referring to is not really written by you. I guess that's my impression, right? I guess, right? It's pretty much, man, always like that, right? It's always kind of painful, right? So in a way, I fully kind of get how you feel, right? Because but on the other hand, as long as your managers kind of understand that, right, then you don't really care, right? Yeah, there's something wrong there for sure. There's something wrong there for sure. There's some bug without a doubt, right? Yeah. I mean, oftentimes, right, one just has to spend time. That's unfortunately, most of the APIs out there aren't documented. There's no stuff really that you can take a look at apart from just checking it yourself, right? That's kind of what it is, right? Let me just check one thing, Maddie. Tailwind calc. Actually seems that I searched for that before. Yeah, but it's fine, dude. Don't lose your mind over it, right? Don't lose your mind over it, right? It's not a big deal, right? But I know the feeling. It's kind of, yeah, it can be very frustrating indeed. Let me just try one thing here. Yeah, I think this is how I wrote it as well. I don't know if this is gonna work though, but let's give it a shot. I'm basically trying to, so I'm using this H screen, which is basically setting the screen's height to 100 view. It's like 100 view height of the viewport, right? But then I wanna subtract that somehow, right? But it doesn't seem to be liking what I'm writing. Yeah, exactly. So that works. Yeah, this is kind of what I want, right? Okay, let's try that, right? Because instead of using the class, right, let's try 100 view height minus that, right? Okay, so that's pretty much what I want, right? Can we do like 20% or something? Nah. Yeah, this is why yeah, it's so unreliable. That's why I say using this sort of stuff is boils the question if I should even use it, calculating this height like this and stuff. It's really kind of, it doesn't give me confidence that this is gonna yeah, nah. Actually, you know, actually when I think about it now, do I even have to provide this height here? I do, okay. Can I say this? No, I can't. Okay. So probably we shouldn't use this auto sizer at all, right? Can we just nuke it? Yeah, so I think so. Yeah, so let's just go. So I'm actually just give up on an idea that I'm gonna give up on an idea of this kind of contained super like whatever. Let's just use this guy instead, and it should suffice, right? So I'm pretty much gonna use this, and that's it. This next fetch data, I guess, in our context is gonna be again just yeah. So here we're gonna have data dot rows. No, yeah, actually, I don't know if this is. Yeah. Data dot rows dot length, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Fetch data should be essentially just set current page, and it's gonna be current page +1. There's gonna be some function for refreshing. Let's just say refresh. And then if we go over here, we'll just import this fella. Really kind of annoying type of thing, I must be very honest. Not satisfying at all actually. Then I'm gonna uncomment this. I'm gonna smack it in here. Yeah. User message. That should kind of at least compile. Good evening, Alvi. How are you doing? How is life? So yeah, we can see that, yeah, this is kind of the infinite scroll now. Good. I'm gonna just hacking a bit for a couple of more minutes, and then I'm gonna spend a bit of time with my wife, but pretty good. First time here, I can see, right? Okay, has more basically. So essentially this is gonna be. Thank you for the following. If you're referring to VS Code, yes, I'm using the default one, and that's mainly because it's shown really well on the stream, right? The contrast of colors, it's easy to read, but I used to use, and I often use, few different themes that I used for many years, like yeah. But you know, when you're streaming, you kind of have to ensure that it's something neutral, right? So most people can either like it and also can see it, right? All right, so let's kind of fiddle with this a bit more. So basically, net has more has to be determined somehow, right? So we have to say, well, I mean, I guess what we can do pretty much to determine if there's more is literally go to our pagination component, right? Oops. So let's go to our pagination component, right? And well, I'm not making it lazy load because I have pagination, so yes, you can call that lazy loading, right? Lazy loading is just pagination, right? We just invented the word. But yes, yeah, I'm basically just now adding infinite scroll. So instead of clicking next and previous, right? Basically, you're just gonna be scrolling until there's no more stuff to scroll, yes. And here I'm gonna say data dot total. So this should determine it, that, yeah, there's kind of no more stuff, but let's see, right? Oops. So I scroll a bit, and actually you can see there's no more stuff to show, right? Now, that's kind of a funny thing is, like, so we're gonna actually go with this infinite scroll without this auto resizer and this crazy stuff, because I don't think, let's actually see, we can see this in our network tab if this actually does work. So, and not really. Is it working or not? No. At least I don't see the requests. Let's see. Oh, actually, are we updating the right view? Yeah, we are. Okay. Wait a minute. So if current page, so I think my expression here was wrong. It should be the opposite, I think. So yeah, we get page 1, page 2, and yeah, we're good. So now basically it works, right? So we get, wait a minute, let's see. So we got like 20 of them, I believe. Then we scroll, then we get 20 more, and the scroll gets messed up. Yes, I'm working LV for almost 14 years now. Yes, full time. Yes. So that's good, right? So we'll have to kind of say that there's nothing more to do, right? We can do that now, actually. So let's kind of wrap this in a div instead of a paragraph. I'm working as a full stack position. No. I'm working as a full stack. And let's do this, let's say, there's nothing more to load. And then let's say, actually, we can say text center. And then let's say py4. So let's leave it as such for a moment, like that. That's okay. And now, of course, the scroll is messed up. We can see that whenever the new request happens, and that's because of our state, so we'll have to fix that thing. Because the thing is, you can think about this logically, right? Every time when we scroll, and then the new request happens, we're gonna be in the loading state. So our component is gonna re-render, we're gonna return this for a fraction of a second, and then we're gonna show more, right? So that's why our list that's why our scroll messes up, right? Let's see what would actually happen if we would just for a tiny moment get rid of this. Yeah, because we're trying to access data that's not yet there, right? So what we could do instead, though, is I am in Denmark. So what we could do, maybe let's try that. Let's try a simple condition here. So is loading, and then show it there, and then, but I feel, yeah, nah, this is not gonna work. We're still gonna kind of fail, right? We'll have to figure out the way, right, to not return here, to not interrupt this, but we don't have to do it now, so it's okay, right? So wait, let's actually maybe research it for a second. So So let's compose a question like this. Messes up the scroll when refetch. The thing is, right, like getting a job, if you never worked before, right, you'll obviously, it's gonna be harder than somebody who had, right? There's no secrets about that. Now, if you haven't had a job, it's very important that you have a portfolio of things that you've done, either side projects or whatever, right? Something to show, because you know, it gets a lot easier once you get a couple of jobs and you have some references and stuff, then things become easier. But until you reach that point, it's just normal to accept that it's harder for you, for example, than somebody who already has references, some history and stuff. Because, you know, hiring developers, you know, it's a very expensive thing, and a lot of employers kind of want you to have. So my suggestion, of course, is make sure your GitHub profile looks good. Make sure to build things as you're applying and as you're waiting to get a job. Make sure that you're constantly building something. That doesn't have to be the most complex thing, but essentially build things with the skills that you have, that you want to showcase for the jobs that you want to apply. I think full stack, I've been working in this industry for many years, and even so, full stack is often a bit ridiculous thing, right? Because full stack as a concept exists because companies want to hire generalists and pay people less, basically. So for one full stack developer, you save by not hiring one, right? Whatever. Give me a second. I'm just gonna skim through. So for example, when I come to your here and look at this, for example, right? Okay, so if you're gonna be applying for junior positions, then it's fine. But for example, first thing I see is important, and then I would probably have questions. Why did you do this? Because first, this div is empty. Number two, when you use inline styles, you don't need important, because that's how the CSS renders. This would always have the highest precedence. So since this is an inline style, it's always going to have higher precedence than your in-file styles or external CSS file, right? So make sure that you don't leave some questions, things like this, that could put you under some questions, right? And second of all, you shouldn't be writing inline styles anyway. There's absolutely never a good reason to ever write inline styles unless you have your JavaScript libraries adding those styles dynamically. That's a different thing, right? Like calculating stuff. So essentially, yeah, I can see, like, for example, like I'm trying now to find things which you can, there's like, I can see that your tooling isn't set up in a way so you have like gaps here between the class. I can see you're using Tailwind, that's good. But I can also see, yeah, but generally, right, depends what you would want me to tell you. Overall, I like your portfolio, right? I can see that this is hosted on CloudFront, which is good. Overall, it's good. I would suggest you to reduce those, like, actually no, this is kind of snap in place, I guess, so it's fine. Overall good, right? Yeah, I mean, you just need more projects for sure, right? Because this page that you linked in your portfolio is exactly the same page like this. It's just different color, right? Same with this, right? So basically, Your entire portfolio is based on the same template. You've just changed the colors, right? And then this one is broken as well, right? So overall, the main obviously advice I have for you, you have to, if you want to get a job, and keep in mind, IT right now is crowded with a bunch of people who are in the same place as you. There's thousands of people out there in the same position as you. You have to understand that if you want to get it, you have to just represent yourself to be better than them. It's a competition, right? So you have to have your portfolio a lot better than it is now, right? You have to show the effort. You have to show something that's going to divide you from others, right? And I'm by no means saying that nothing really. Like there's no the subject of a project is never important. So I think this is very important for everybody to understand. Like there's no specific subject that hiring managers, whatever. Also, what Killer said, right? So there's so the thing is, when I look at this, right, Alvi, I don't care about what this about. I care about that whatever it is that it's done right, that it looks good, that you put empathy in it, that it's nice. I would highly advise you to reduce the number of those skills. There's no chance that you know C++, Lua, PHP, Node.js, React. I've been working for 13, 14 years, like I said, in this industry, and I don't know all this. So you have to find actually things that you know truly to get the job done, not something that you've tried. Because if I would past 15 years, or actually even more, if I would put everything that I've tried, then this list would have 300 of those boxes. But that doesn't mean that I can do those things for a job, right? That means that I maybe played with them. So you have to narrow down where your strengths are, and then seek the job in such a place, right? There's a lot. C++ alone, you never learn C++. It's a very hard language. You learn it your whole life. Same with JavaScript. I mean, say, right? Exactly, right? So you have to narrow down. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to decide what is that you want to do. Do you want to build, native Node.js plugins or video games, or write the drivers and stuff, right? Python, C++, JavaScript, right? Nobody knows this. There's no developer on the planet that knows all this. Exactly. So you have to, if I would come here as somebody who's, you send me this, you apply to my company, I would know that this is not true, right? In 3 seconds. And I would know not just for you, but for anyone else who would send me this, I would know that this is not true, right? So narrow down your set of skills and find what you want to do and get good at that, and that's it. But never forget, there are thousands of people trying to get the same opportunity like you, and this is just reality. If you want to get them over them, you have to do a lot more to this sort of stuff, right? To kind of showcase that. And it's hard. Just remember, it's hard for anyone getting into the industry, getting the first job. It's hard, and it's going to be hard, and remember that. But it's not impossible, and I'm sure that you can get it. But you'll have to really, you're gonna have to pull some weight to get there, right? You have, like, what has happened, past 10 years in IT industry was both good and bad. So the quantity of developers have increased dramatically, but quality has decreased dramatically as well. So the thing is, as the quantity of the developers increase, quality of the software decreases. And we can see generally that software in general, quality-wise, has decreased, right? And that's how it is. And why is that? Well, that's very normal, right? When you get new people in the industry, they basically suck, which is completely normal as well. At one point, everyone is at that stage. And then by the time they become good and master the stuff, they just write a bunch of gibberish. And there's not enough of seniors out there right now in the industry to mentor every single junior. You just don't have that capacity or the resources in any company that you sit with a junior whole day, every day, because the senior is the one that has to get most of the job done. So when you join a company, you're not going to be mentored in a literal sense that somebody's going to sit with you and teach you every single thing every single day, right? So yeah, a lot of people are coming in this industry, which means that the quality of the software as well is getting down, right? 100%. 100%. University is absolutely 300% meaningless in this industry. If you are applying to my company and I'm interviewing you, I'm not gonna even ask you do you have university or not, right? I don't care about your university diploma at all, right? I care 0%. I care, like, when you come to an interview, you have to pass all the stages, and generally there's always multiple stages, 3, 4, 5, 10 different stages you have to pass. And if you can get yourself to pass those things, that's your university diploma, right? By no means I'm saying that you shouldn't study or anything like that. That's just to be clear here. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing if you study. I'm saying that that's good, but that's not gonna get you the job. You can study at MIT, or at some most horrible school somewhere in some, I don't know, dark alley or whatever. Nobody cares. Like, you still have to pass. University diploma is gonna just kind of it's just gonna maybe tell the recruiter, like the person who is recruiting you, that okay, you put some effort for a couple of years and you might have some knowledge. So some assumptions are gonna be made up front, but you still have to prove those assumptions. So if you come into an interview with the most amazing diploma on the planet and you can't solve a basic thing, then your diploma is meaningless, right? Yeah, undeniably killer, by no means, 100%. Whatever it has done to you, it has done it, but still when you went to and you applied for your job, you had to pass the interview. And that's it, right? You will never show up somewhere and it's gonna, oh, you studied that computer science, yes, okay, you're in. It doesn't happen like that. So no matter where you studied, what you did, it's irrelevant, right? You have to pass the interview, and that's all that matters, right? If you don't pass it, good luck. That's really all to it. There's not more, not less. I mean, Alvi, I personally been working in this industry for my age, very long time. I don't really remember, to be very frank with you, right? I have no idea, right? I didn't, my path hasn't been like that. Well, all of us, we have different paths. Somebody gets lucky this much, somebody gets lucky that much. So there's no concrete path. There's no such thing as how did you do it, whatever, right? Either way, I was sitting by a computer as a kid. I was, when I was, I'm 33 years old. I was coding, PHP 3 and C++ and C and Pascal when I was 12, and Visual Basic 6 and stuff. So this industry really is very unique, right? The school and university can help you, of course, but geeks are very specific. We're basement dwellers, right? We are people who sit by a computer when everyone else is out and having fun and stuff. So this is a matter of just mentality. It's a very specific type of people. That's really all that there is. So I've never, lived my life thinking, I have to sit and do side projects so I can get a job. I was doing this as a kid without a concept of money or a job, because it was fun, right? Yeah, it's a beautiful, I remember when Corona came, man, and my wife and my kid are, we're not gonna be able to go out, and I was thinking in myself, dude, this is so amazing, man. We have to stay home, right? And stuff like that. So that was quite hilarious, and it was a joke in a way, right? But on the other hand, it's like, so it's really about the feeling, Alvi. You have to get yourself to the point of wanting to build things, not because they're gonna get you a job, it's because you enjoy doing that, right? Then we have that, okay, sure. But try to fall in love with the industry. That's gonna solve all of your issues if you have any. So just try to hack stuff right through, and that's it, right? Yeah, I mean, it's like you don't necessarily need to just love it. It's more of a, you can see kind of that. It's very apparent, right? When people show up and when they tell you what they do and what their passions are, it's most of the time very apparent, right? So yeah, pretty much. If you suck at coding, just become a project manager. That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's that meme, actually. I'm not even kidding. PM is project manager. Yeah. Okay. So maybe let me spend a few more minutes, and I'm gonna go hang out with my wife. But oops. But let me kind of try to solve this fella here. And because now, again, so the problem is, you can see now with my infinite scroll, is that when I scroll to the next page, the scroll position changes because we have added more stuff and because of my kind of loading state, right? And we have to fix that, right? So that doesn't happen, right? Scroll jumps on getting new data. Yeah, pretty much this is our problem, right? And no response. Oh my god. Let's search for more. Let's go back. Yeah, and actually, let's see. Let's actually go to the library itself, right? So this is what we're using. So let's go here, right? Let's go here. Let's search for scroll jumps or something. I don't know. It's scroll. Yeah, no. Well, you saw how useful it is. The thing is, right, I mean, Killer, you became my follower today and my subscriber, so hopefully we're gonna hang out, you and I, for time to come, right? Hopefully I'm gonna see you around. I generally don't use Stack Overflow unless it's something arbitrary or external library related, right? Because most of the time documentation of something is but honestly, man, like it's just like, that's why I'm super against libraries in general, mainly because some of them are great and you should use them without thinking, but sometimes, you know, simple problem you can solve yourself. You install something and then you couple yourself to just a bunch of unknown things. Like here, for example, right? You can kind of see this problem, right? We have this infinite scroll now, and every time I hit the new page, right, the scroll jumps to the top, right? And I know why it jumps. It's just, I don't want to go and now read the source code of this, but I can see that probably somebody has had the same issue. There's no chance to it's just, and thank you very much for the compliment, Killer. Really, thank you, man. Are you embedded developer, maybe? Are you an embedded developer? Because you sound to be like C guy or C++ game developer. Matt Dog, man, thank you so much for the sub, dude. Appreciate it, man. So C# or C++? Man, like, it's such a hard thing to compose this question now. Yeah, man, rip. Rip. Thank you, man. Thank you. I mean, seriously, it's not even about the sub itself. It's just I have a very high sub to follower ratio, and the reason why I'm happy because of that isn't necessarily just the money or anything. It's really knowing that people can find value in it is very motivating, to be very frank with you. So that is really cool. Like, kind of literally why yeah, why I scroll. So this is kind of building the scroll right manually, and I might even end up doing this, but let's uh, Zidi, I live in Denmark. I mean, I'm originally from the Balkans, but we live in Scandinavia for over a decade now. So, but I'm not an American, if that's what you mean. Some people ask me if I'm American. My whole family is in the U.S., but no, I'm not. I'm not from the U.S. Actually, I don't know. I don't even know, dude. Sorry. I just know that here in Denmark, a lot of people ask me often if I'm from the U.S., and I'm not. All right. So let's just think. I mean, killer. It's if people during my growing up didn't share knowledge with me, I would have not been anywhere. It's there's really nothing to be scared of. I worked at Thinkful. I worked as a mentor for 5.5 years, and there's no better pleasure and kind of higher meaning than teaching people and stuff. There's nothing gives you such an amazing feeling, right? It's insane, right? It's the most normal thing, and I'm not a. The thing is, if you're afraid of sharing your knowledge because you might think that somebody is gonna take something from you, then your self confidence is really low. It's like, dude, just yeah. So you can see what happens, right? So we have the scroll bar. So let's think here together just for a minute. So right. So every time we reach the point of that scroll, right, we get, so every time we send a request, we get in a new loading state, right? And because we return here, we re-render the whole list. Now the question is there some loading state here? What is the refresh function? So let's kind of maybe I prematurely just started Googling random stuff. Let's kind of go here and read the props at the very least. Using scroll on top. The infinite scroll component can be used in 3 ways. Okay. I think this is for mobile, this refresh function. I think this pull and stuff, generally you use that on mobile devices, right? So I don't think we need that. Scrollable reference the parent down. Yes, so either way, right? I feel it's wrong. So I feel it's wrong that our spinner, because it's not the spinner, not or even the scroll. The fact is that due to the spinner, we're gonna re-render the whole list every single time, right? But actually we're not, right? Because yeah, let me actually see. So are we? I see. So you see what the problem is here. So the problem here isn't necessarily that, it's that our what is it called? That's the use SVR basically. So it's not kind of, so every time you scroll, it's not kind of, so yeah, so this is not going to work with infinite scroll, right? So because this guy always fetches the next page, which means it doesn't add to the same list, it replaces the list, right? Yeah, this is pretty much what we need, right? So let's see, can I reuse that somehow, right? So I think this is what we need to use, right? I believe all we actually have to change is literally this, right? So let's try that, right? Because I'm trying to make this to be generic, right? So, and then what was it, slash infinite or something? Yeah. Let's see if this, I don't think it's gonna be sufficient, but let's still give it a shot. Okay, we can see that this is already kind of failing, I think. So let's see, so use that, then you get the data error size, set size is validating, okay. So yeah, so I think this is the way forward with this, yeah, this is kind of an example killer, basically, yeah, exactly. And then this is what we get back from this thing, right? So if we go over here, so let's kind of rename also. So what I'm going to do now while we're refactoring this, let's rename this to use infinite. Yeah, let's call it use infinite, right? And then let's search for use request. And then let's just replace it with use. Let's just do this, right? Yeah, and then let's actually go ahead to source hooks. Let's rename it to use infinite. Let me just put on some music here. All right, cool. Cool, yes. So going back here again, so this is all of the stuff that this fella returns, right? Data error, mutate, all of this stuff, and we're pretty much gonna do the same. So mutate, size, set size is, yes it is. I mean, every single project, if it's a React project today, is made with CRI, yeah, create React app, yeah. So unless it's Next.js or something, it's always create React. There's no absolutely other reason to make it using anything else, right? So yes, it is. All right, cool. So we kind of got this. Let's go to over here and see what else we need. And let's see where did they use all of this stuff. So we'll need a bunch of this logic, right, to make absolutely not true. Vite is a much better. Okay, maybe it is. Like, I don't know. I mean, all the projects I worked so far, all those years, have been built with CRI. Maybe it is. Maybe you're right. I don't actually know. When you say better, what do you mean? What do you mean better? Nice. Is a new breed of front-end build tooling. Nice. It is very bad. I mean, it's, well, CRI. But there's no complexity, Croucher. I mean, I disagree with you there. Which complexity? I run the app and that's it. I don't. That's the whole point of those things. And keep in mind, I don't disagree on you with this thing that you suggested. I'm just saying there's no complexity. I don't think that maybe two times in my life I had to eject the React project to change something in a Webpack configuration, right? So I'm not. When you say complexity, I'm not sure what do you mean by that, right? Which complexity? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that React app, I'm pretty sure still is way dominant. Now, it's not dominant because it's better, it's dominant because it's very old and most people know about it. So I'm not suggesting that it's the best. I never said actually at once that it's the best. I just said it's used in most of the React project, which is true still because it's most people know about it, right? So it's mainly that it's just it was the first good thing, because I don't know how many of you have actually tried building those tools yourself. I've certainly spent enough years with Gulp and Grunt and Webpack, and it's super painful, right? So when Create React App came as a bundler and as a build system, it was amazing, right? And it's still amazing for 99.9% of use cases because you run the app and it works, right? So you don't, in most circumstances, you don't need to change anything, right? Now, is this Vita thing better, faster, whatever? Probably it is, right? But I haven't yet faced any bottlenecks with this. It's not that I wouldn't, if I would start a new project and I don't know, one of you, Croucher, said this Vita is better, I would probably be like, sure. If it's also simple, I would start that, right? So there's really no, yeah. There's my best man. All right, so let's kind of get back to this. So yeah, so let's go back to this. Issues is loading initial data. And then where is this stuff used? Ah, okay, so this is just like bunch of states. Okay, sure. Fine, it's okay. I think TypeScript is great, right? I mean, there isn't. The thing is, right? There's a massive discrepancy in thinking when we talk about TypeScript and JavaScript. JavaScript is a dynamic language, and as such, especially past 5 to 10 years, it has gotten a lot better, right? Writing dynamically typed language like Python and JavaScript, etc., requires a specific mental model, right? Does TypeScript make JavaScript better? Sure, it does. Is it always and absolutely necessary? No. And this is kind of one of those discussions that's very philosophical or feeling based, right? Like, does every language has to have a type system? No. Does it make it better in some circumstances or most circumstances? Yes. But there's a lot of other things on how you write your code and how you compose your functions and names and how you design software in general, right? I would lie if I would say that not using TypeScript is better, but I don't think it's the absolute thing, right? TypeScript adds complexity to the language that hasn't been invented with types. It's dynamically typed language. And TypeScript, the thing is, right, the biggest problem with TypeScript is that probably big majority of the JavaScript community just uses it for types. And if you just need basic types, you should use Flow, for example. TypeScript is not really just a type system. It's a language. TypeScript has been designed by Microsoft, by C# team, right? They added generics, they added classes and a lot of other stuff, interfaces, enums, etc., right? And many of those types of developers write JavaScript as if it was object-oriented programming language, which it absolutely isn't, never was, and never will be, right? So it's very philosophical. But in simple words, Jad, yes, you should use TypeScript but it's not an absolute thing. Or to rephrase, you should use TypeScript, but if you don't, you're not making a mistake. So that's what I want to say. So I think it can make your life easier, but not using it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong, right? If you're dealing a lot with not knowing what to pass where and what something is, then it's going to help you a lot. If you're not dealing with those types of issues, we have to remember one thing, right? Also, JavaScript community is filled with bunch of hipsters and bunch of wannabes, right? We have to choose tools because they solve problems. If you don't have a problem, you don't choose a tool. And this is very much common sense. So there's a lot of radical feelings in this industry, because just like in video games, in anything, people get obsessed. They start idolizing things. They create whatever, right? In simple words, if you have a problem, you find a tool. If you don't have a problem, your goal always should be to use as less tools and libraries as possible. So if you don't need TypeScript, don't use it, because it's going to complicate your build process. It's going to do some other things which are annoying. So yeah, just use common sense. If you're having issues, if your code for whatever reason often breaks, if you don't know what to pass where and how to design, use it. If not, you want to solve other problems then, but don't solve the problem that you don't have, right? That's it, right? All right, cool. No. So if we go basically here now, I actually wrote an article like a couple of years ago, right, on my blog. You guys should read it. It's called Continuous. I wrote this article in 2018. So let's say 4 years ago. So it's basically literally killer what you basically just asked, right? I invented the term continuous excusing development, basically. It's basically people who continuously complain about the tools and their own decisions they made. And as I wrote here, continuous complaints about languages of his own choice, continuous complaints about complexity of the tools of his own creation, continuous complaints about the complexity of the code of his own creation, picks the opposing side in all discussions and feeds of complaints of others, shares random social articles on how horrible something is, self-reflection skills lower than the unborn, proposes no solution or help on any of the complaints, has weak arguments or no arguments, right? Blindly follows his... This problem in this industry is massive. You go to some super mega popular god of JavaScript or something, he says, you know, this is better, and then you have a bunch of those brain dead followers just coming around and spreading that crap, right? Seriously, man, I'm sick of it. I guess you can feel it in me. I'm just sick. Just use common sense. It's like there's so much idolizing even in this industry of idols and god mode programmers and great, you know, whatever. It's like, no, man. It's very simple. You have a problem, you find a tool. You don't have a problem, you don't use the tool. If any of you have read the clean code, right? I know, killer, and that I know, and those people are gonna tell you all of those things same as I just did, right? Really, we made programming, we made this JS web community, a bunch of hipsters and cool looking Red Soxes and stuff like that, but in the end, man, it's just programming. Yeah, exactly, man. But what is the point of complaints? You know, when I complain, I'm either proactive and I solve it, or I don't complain. There's no point in complaints without action. It's like, oh my God, this sucks. You know, like 6-7 years ago when I worked here in one of a company called Airtame, actually 5 years ago, I had a manager who taught me a lot of great things, and constantly I would come to him and I would say, why is this like this? We should do it like this. And then I think at one point he got fed up with me and he started saying, do it. And I would come to him, he's like, oh, who wrote this? Why is this done? He's like, sure, man, do it. Go ahead. do it. And as he kept saying do it every now and then, I just realized that I should just shut up, right? In simple words, man, if things suck and you complain about them, do something about it or don't complain. It's as simple as that, really. It really is. Because all of us, we like to, oh my god, who wrote this? Why is this like this? It's like, dude, fix it. Easy. Sit down and fix it. Or next time, you know, I was jobless. Yeah. Oh, okay. So there's really no, okay. So there's no loading state from this fella, I think. Okay, I think that's why this fella is let's see. Let's go here. Is loading initial data, is loading more data. Okay, so this is kind of, that's a good one actually. So we need all this stuff, right? So let's kind of abstract it out. Exactly. What a strange, is loading initial data. Okay, it makes sense. It kind of makes sense to have this property because, right, we load some data and then we kind of paginate or whatever. Is loading more, I mean, my only assumption, the reason why this is written as such is because the data is probably undefined. So, I guess if there's no data, they don't return the actual whatever, right? Array or whatever, it's undefined or something. So, and then this is basically just copying, right, stuff. I mean, we can probably do just, I don't actually know why we would do this anyway, but whatever, right? It's very questionable killer, right? While it might be true that while it might be true to some extent what you wrote, it's also very messed up and it's very much it's hard to say, right? It's a very convoluted community, right? For example, when you write Go or C, or for example, I used to write C++ many years ago, for a couple of years. C++ has a massive standard library, like the STL, right? I actually have a, let me show you here. So for example, when I was working as a C++ developer, right, I would pull up this fella, right? This is like a Bible of C++, right? And then you would kind of, you would pretty much have all you need, right? In JS, in this community, right, tooling is horrible. It's the most horrible tooling that exists in any language on the planet. That's why when we just discussed Webpack versus this Vite or whatever and stuff, like all of those are community built things. When you write Go, right, in Go you get Go format, Go this, like you get all the tools with it, and every Go code base more or less looks the same, right? JavaScript and stuff, don't envy it, by no means killer, because it's the community, the tooling in the community is really bad. It's the tooling is the most complex part of the whole language, right? So it's really messed up. It's really messed up. Page size. We'll kind of have to do this a bit better. Let me check actually. So what am I doing? Thoughts, messages. If I go to my API, and if we kind of, so size is 20, so that's fine, right? So if we go back to the front, so let's come here and say is loading. Yeah, and then there's really no is loading state, right, anymore. So let's just say here is loading more, and then is loading. It wasn't there. Nah, did I just remove something? Wasn't there is loading initial data? Or I guess is loading more. Could we do like this? Yeah, I'm probably not doing something right. Maybe we'll miss something. Let's go back here. Ah, okay, interesting. So it seems that, yeah. So it seems that we need the index itself, right? So this is kind of the signature of this thing. And what was this, like the first art? Was this? Yeah, it was, sure. Your telecom, beautiful. Is this really necessary though? No, which index is this? Hackers. Okay, so I guess this is gonna look like this, right? And then this is gonna look like that. Yeah, I'm gonna also probably round up soon as well. But super good discussions, honestly. It's just now I'm thinking though. Yeah, that's quite interesting. Doesn't seem anymore that we actually need the current page thing. So I'm not actually quite sure how this is supposed to work. So strange. Let's see. Okay, now we're failing reading length. Data, okay. Let's actually see what the data is. All right, cool. So we are actually getting the data, ironically. Yeah, so this was wrong from my end. So actually we're almost good, I think. So let's just say here data, right? Or let's just say data, that should be fine. And let's get back here and refresh. Did I actually save? Good evening, Nikita, my friend. How are you doing? So basically data is always an array. Okay, interesting. But in our case, in our own project here, it's never gonna be that, right? So let's just say something like this, right? And I believe that's kind of what maybe. No. Let's just say data of 0 for now. Good, man, good. We're making some good progress. I would say pretty happy. Yeah, pretty happy to say. Now just kind of fiddling with some pagination and stuff and infinite scrolling. And just taking a look now at this sort of stuff. So we have data, which is an array. Very interesting. So yeah, so we'll have to modify this, right? Because I think this example, not I think 100%, because their example is expecting the data to be an array, right, of things, because this API here returns that, right? So if we actually visit this thing, so per page, let's say 10, page 1. Never mind, whatever. But I'm sure of that, right? So in our case here, data is going to be then we'll have to modify this to fit our own interface and stuff, right? SSS, yeah. So it does seem that this thing just returns an array. That's yeah. And then when I try to, so let's say, then when I try to print it data of 0, it kind of fails. I don't know why. Okay, it fails because sure. Let's try that. So this is kind of what we need. This is the shape we need, right? It's kind of strange that this thing does that to the why would this guy actually alter my response? I don't actually like that at all. That's really bad. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Why would it fiddle with how my API returns things? Return values. Yeah. Sure, okay. All right, I mean, okay, so basically over here, right, we just have to say something. Let's just maybe, even though that's really bad, but just for the time being. So, or array dot is array data. No, that's always going to be the case, but I want to see. Let's see if this is going to fail.